Well, as you can see from the sweat in my face, I've just come back from the track, and it's easy for me to start this video by saying middle class aspirations are growing alongside middleweight motorcycle market, blah blah blah. But let me start with this. It's an aloo tikki burger, and for all intents and purposes, it is the perfect premium Indian snack. A tasty toasted bun, a perfectly cooked potato patty in the middle, the right amount of spices for the right amount of kick, and a price that won't have you breaking the bank. This is, ladies and gentlemen, your Royal Enfield Classic 350. It's hard for you to convince me that you can do it better, unless you're an American brand with years of heritage and a coolness factor that will have grown men drooling. Similarly, I introduce the Harley Davidson X440. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be riding this neo-retro roadster, and we're going to see if it can outgun Made Like a Gun. I'm Karan Mathur, you're watching AutoX, and it's time to get started. Now, let's start with the styling, and I think the Harley Davidson X440 has pretty unique styling, certainly amongst Harley's current lineup. And if you look at it, well, I think it's a good mix between a cruiser and a roadster, and if the Iron 883 had to have a baby with that first gen Ducati Monster, I think this is what it would look like. Overall, I really like the styling, and if you look at styling elements like the LED round headlamps, the teardrop shape fuel tank, the machine cut alloy wheels, the machine cut finish on the engine, a long broad exhaust, and if you come to the back, the oval shaped LED tail lamps. In my opinion, I think this would turn heads anywhere you go. But there is a but here. The base version, which is the denim, comes in a particular yellow shade which helps the contours of this bike pop even more. The matte black is really nice and it gives you a cruiser style look, but the yellow shade on the base versions, they really stand out. Now let me swing a leg over and talk about ergonomics. Well, you get a split side single piece seat and a seat height of 805 millimeters. The seat is contoured inwards for the rider, and I think that feels very comfortable. As you can see, I may not be able to flat foot it. I'm 5'6", and it still feels pretty comfortable. The side panels are pretty broad, that hinder my ability to flat foot, but it isn't overwhelming by any means. If you talk about the handlebar risers are angled upwards and inwards, so that gives me a pretty comfortable riding position, not too upright or not too hunched over, just perfect for city riding and your occasional car trips as well. The curb weight of this motorcycle is 190 kgs, and the weight is balanced pretty well across the front and rear, and that helps it to be pretty manageable. Now let's come to performance and handling. You get a 440cc single-cylinder engine that makes 27 bhp at 6,000 rpm and 38 Nm of torque at 4,000 rpm. It gets a long stroke configuration, and once you start riding, it feels that way as well. Once you get going, it does have a slight bit of hesitation before the dollops of power come in strongly. Between the 2000 and 4500 rpm mark is where this engine feels at its best. Now, once you push it further, that's where engine vibrations start to creep up through the handlebars and through the foot pegs as well. And to be honest, there are not many vibrations which come in through the seat, and that is a pretty good thing. Now, if we talk about the high-speed sections, we weren't able to get it out on the highway, but at this track, we were able to do 100 to 110 at 5th gear, and that's where the bike feels at its best. There is 6th gear, but that feels purely like an overdrive mode. Now, Hero and Harley have put special attention into the exhaust note of this engine, and to be honest, it may end up sounding a bit raspy at idle and low speeds. Where it does shine though is at higher speed once the engine settles into a rhythm. That's where the V-twin heritage comes shining through. Harley engineers have also built the motorcycle to be at its most optimum, short shifting through the 6-speed gearbox. At medium speed corners at Hero's test track, I always found myself having to downshift into the corners and having to upshift through corner exit in order to best extract the power from this motorcycle. And that, I feel, is not very ideal for a bike that is meant for city riding and long highway commutes. Well, now that you know all the characteristics about the engine and the transmission, it's time to talk about the handling, and that's what impressed us the most. While the engine and transmission could have been tuned a little better, the overall grip and chassis dynamics of this motorcycle are really sorted. I have no complaints except for one. That is the position of the foot pegs. While it may be comfortable for everyday use, it was hard to avoid scraping them through every turn in my first-hand experience of the motorcycle. Overall, I really like the balance that this has to offer. It's comfortable and stable at cruising speeds and feels equally good to ride through the corners. Well, it's now time for my verdict and for me to sum up what I think of the Harley Davidson's X440. I came to this review thinking it's going to be a comfortable cruiser but not very good at the handling bits. I was wrong. It's a comfortable cruiser and it handles the twisty stuff pretty well. But what lets it down is the engine and transmission characteristics. You have to really push it in order to extract the maximum performance and power out of this engine. But overall, it's a comfortable cruiser, it looks really nice, has lots of features on offer, and what I leave you with is that you guys need to get out there and try this bike for yourself. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. And for me, I'm going to get this bike out there for a proper road test review to see what it's all about. Maybe even throw in a few rivals to see what it has to offer against them. And that's it for me. My name is Karan Mathur. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification in order to be notified about our upcoming videos.